Hello again, everybody. My name is Ray, and today I'm talking about day 5 of my water fast and the experience I had. Day 5 was interesting in that I started out my morning going to Ojo Caliente, which is a hot springs resort in New Mexico, and I soaked for a number of hours in the pool. I drank a sufficient amount of water, and that was the first day that I had water with lemon wedges in it just for flavor. I didn't squeeze the lemons. They were just floating in there. You know, when you go to a fancy place and they have fancy water. Well, I got to enjoy the fancy water. And my friend John met me at this resort after he was done hiking, and he took me on a short hike. I had mentioned to him that the day before I felt okay, but there was something that suddenly happened where I was feeling a little bit worn out just walking from the place I was staying to the car, which was, it wasn't parked right next to the house. And so I anticipated that my walk might be a little bit hindered by this sudden decrease in output. Now, for those who don't know, just a few days before I started this fast, I hiked up South Rim in Big Bend National Park, which is a 13-mile hike. It's considered a moderate hike, I believe. It's actually pretty significant. And so to go from that to walking about a half mile with John, I couldn't believe how my energy resources seemingly had been depleted. But at the same time, I kind of expected that something like that would happen at a certain point in time. So we went ahead and took on our short hike. Thankfully, we turned around early, and which also, by the way, gave us time to have a sit-down meal at one of our favorite places. And during this meal, I didn't have any food. I just had a few glasses of water, and my friend had an amazing meal which smelled delicious. And all I could do is think, man, I really enjoy those different items that he's eating right now. And we had our conversation, and that thought about food wasn't overshadowing the conversation, but it was something where I knew something inside of me was saying, hey, those things are really good. Almost like an addict possibly might look at something they're addicted to. So I recognized that there might be a basal form of addiction in association with food because I wasn't hungry while I was thinking that thought. It was just more like almost a thought of boredom. It sure would be nice to taste that. The texture of all that would be delicious. And even talking about it right now, my stomach, I can feel it starting to kind of come alive. But it's not in an unpleasant way. It's just saying we could definitely digest that thing if you were to give it to us. That being said, on this particular day of fasting, it was unusual in several circumstances. Again, it's the 5th day of fasting that I'm talking about. The most unusual part of this is that even though I felt tired during that walk, my next destination was Yellowstone. Had a hiccup there. Sorry about that. My next destination was Yellowstone National Park. And after having lunch with my friend and then having a dinner outing with a couple of other friends where we shared some tea, that basically is where things started to change. It's like I felt rehydrated and reinvigorated. And from that evening at about 6:20, I drove on to Yellowstone National Park. Now that morning, the 5th morning that I'm talking about, I woke up at about 6 a.m. And here I'm talking about it being 6 p.m. and then how I drove overnight to Yellowstone National Park. Well, at about 6:30 or 7 the next morning when the sun was rising, I was still driving, and I was pretty much right at Yellowstone National Park's northwest entrance. And that's something that it's like my energy suddenly just kind of rebounded and resurged in a way where I've read about people who have fasted having insomnia, for an example, or creative periods. It was something akin to that. And so that is something that you might experience. It's almost like a euphoric feeling. And it happened again for me on my 5th day of going without food at all. So I hope that that is something that might be insightful for any of you going through these same experiences, who might question, is this normal or not? And I hope that you tune in again. Today is Monday and it's March 9th, actually. Have to check because I'm talking about a variety of dates and trying to think about when these videos will air at the same time. It's Monday the 9th, and it's the second Monday of Lent. A lot of people tie fasting into Lent. For me, the time frame just coincided with Lent. But what better way to genuflect to the universe and offer my token of humility, saying, hey, there is all this abundance, but we can also choose to forego it, especially in the time of what we have now, with the whole world crying out for help, saying, hey, there are a lot of things that are possibly going wrong. What can we do to help? Well, the first thing to do is to minimize our impact and to spend dollars where they really should be spent. You know, everyone's talking about a vote, but we're still buying plastic bottles of water and fast foods, which result in prescription addictions. On another note, however, this water fast itself is something that I targeted for my own health, trying to recover my blood pressure. And again, I'll post details of that in one of the later segments. I hope that you're hearing the things I'm saying in a way that is not offensive. If there's anything that you want to ask or that I can add or subtract from what it is that I'm delivering here message-wise, please let me know. And please subscribe to my channel so you can see the rest of these clips and see the rest of the journey. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.